in here all night sitting in here?
Yes.
Is it all right or is it awful? Are you bored? Like, do they bring you food? Do you have drink?
What if the performances you praised, the scenes that gave you chills, weren't just acting, but real moments of pain, spiraling out of control while the cameras rolled? Behind the glitz of red carpets and glowing headlines, some of Hollywood's brightest stars were unraveling in silence. From an actress too drunk to remember her lines, to a leading man bleeding and broken during a scene that was never supposed to go that far, this is the side of fame you were never meant to see. Why did so many of them fall so hard, and how did they keep their secrets buried for so long? The truth hides in the footage, in the arrests, in the backstage whispers. And when it all finally surfaced, it wasn't just shocking. It rewrote everything we thought we knew. Stay with us, because what you're about to discover will change how you see these stars forever. In the dazzling realm of Hollywood, where glitz and grit collide, a tale of excess, resilience, and shattered yet enduring legends unfolds. One that peels back the curtain on a darker side of stardom that few dare to reveal. It begins with the iconic Robert Shaw, whose name became synonymous with both brilliant performances and notorious on-set meltdowns. Known not only for his commanding presence in films like Jaws, Shaw's legacy is equally marked by a penchant for overindulgence that left his colleagues scrambling to contain chaos behind the camera. During the filming of the legendary USS Indianapolis scene, Shaw deliberately sought authenticity by requesting permission to consume alcohol before a critical take. The result was a scene halted abruptly as two crew members had to hoist him into his seat after he had overdosed on whiskey, his disoriented state culminating in a performance that oscillated between shocking vulnerability and theatrical brilliance. Yet beneath this volatile exterior, Shaw's off-screen life bore remarkable contrasts. He was known to own a collection of vintage luxury automobiles, gleaming machines that echoed the timeless elegance of classic film eras. And his taste for high-end wristwatches and bespoke suits hinted at a sophisticated investment in a lifestyle where art met opulence. His business acumen was evidenced by a series of collaborations with top-tier producers and partnerships in film distribution, backed by comprehensive personal and career insurance policies that safeguarded his legacy against the unpredictable tides of fame. And here's a hook that leaves you reeling. Behind every shattered bottle and missed cue lay a stark financial strategy designed to endure beyond the fleeting whims of Hollywood's ever-shifting spotlight. As the narrative spirals into the bittersweet saga of Judy Garland, a stark contrast emerges between early triumphs and later trials. Once crowned as America's sweetheart on the silver screen, Garland's meteoric rise was marred by relentless pressures that manifested in a harmful regimen enforced by studio executives. In her tender teenage years, the relentless cycle of stimulants and sedatives imposed by a controlling system derailed her health and career, a harrowing journey that saw her brilliance tarnished by personal demons. Despite these adversities, Garland's luminous talent ensured that even in her most vulnerable moments, there lingered an air of resilience and unwavering charm. Beyond her troubled professional life, financial records and insider reports reveal an unexpected sophistication. Behind the facade of a fragile star was a woman who, at her peak, acquired a modest yet elegant portfolio of real estate investments. Her taste in luxury extended to owning a pair of carefully curated automobiles, each a testament to the lavish aesthetics of the bygone golden age. And while her expenditure on high-end accessories did little to mask the emotional turmoil of her later years, her diligent pursuit of business ventures and insurance policies provided a sliver of financial security during tumultuous times. Here's another power-packed hook. In the midst of personal strife and professional challenges, Garland's determination to protect her assets and heritage hints at an unyielding commitment to preserving the art that defined her, demonstrating that even in fragility there is strength. Transitioning to the whirlwind career of Peter Uhl, a name that resonates with flamboyance and artistic genius, the story intensifies with revelations of wild nights that seem to border on myth. Celebrated for his mesmerizing performances in classics such as Lawrence of Arabia, Uhl's off-screen exploits were notorious for defying convention. He was known to down entire bottles of premium vodka in a single day, and his unpredictable behavior on set often escalated into outlandish scenarios. One memorable incident on the set of The Ruling Class involved the studio constructing a private bar on location in a desperate bid to keep his revelries in check. Despite the chaos, Uhl harbored an impeccable sense of timing and professionalism, distill raw emotion into cinematic magic even when his personal life was in disarray. Off-screen, his financial footprint was equally captivating. Uhl was an aficionado of extravagant luxury, a collector of state-of-the-art sports cars, and an owner of rare, meticulously crafted timepieces that echoed both his erratic flair and refined taste. Further adding to his mystique were a series of savvy business investments and entrepreneurial ventures that, despite public scrutiny, revealed a surprisingly disciplined approach to wealth building. His portfolio boasted significant stakes in high-profile entertainment ventures and lavish real estate properties, including a private jet acquired to shuttle him between exclusive film sets and international premieres, all underpinned by robust personal and business insurance policies that shielded his vast assets from the unpredictable nature of his career. And brace yourself for this hook. Uhl's life, a frenetic blend of brilliance and self-destruction, is a vivid reminder that even icons who flirt with the edge of excess can harness a strategic mastery over their fortunes. Amid these riveting stories, the recurring theme of extravagant indulgence, intertwined with carefully managed financial acumen, emerges as a lesson in the duality of celebrity life. Each of these Hollywood luminaries, despite their personal battles and public missteps, curated a lifestyle that was as much about risk as it was about refined taste and shrewd investments. Their choices in luxury, be it the allure of classic automobiles that gleamed under red carpet spotlights, the understated elegance of high-end watches that subtly ticked away the moments of their fleeting fame, or the acquisition of opulent estates that served as both sanctuaries and status symbols, revealed a deeper narrative where passion met prudence. Through extensive business collaborations and strategic insurance policies, crafted to protect both their artistic and financial legacies, these stars taught an enduring lesson: that the path to enduring success is often paved with both glamorous highs and gut-wrenching lows. As each of these figures navigated the blurred lines between their public personas and private challenges, their journeys left us with a compelling reminder. In an industry driven by ephemeral trends and relentless scrutiny, a calculated approach to personal finance and asset management can serve as the ultimate safeguard against the inevitable storms that follow fame. And in this fast-moving tapestry of Hollywood excess and resilience, one truth remains indelible. Every shattered moment on set, every lavish purchase, and every strategic financial decision weaves together a narrative that is both cautionary and inspiring. The legends of Shaw, Garland, and Uhl are not merely relics of a bygone era, but living testimonies to the complex interplay of talent, vulnerability, and the relentless pursuit of legacy. With every dramatic twist on and off the screen, they remind us that the glimmer of stardom comes at a price, one that is often paid in personal sacrifice and rugged determination. This is the story of Hollywood's biggest stars, whose incredible journeys continue to captivate us, urging a deeper reflection on the true cost of fame and the art of turning adversity into eternal brilliance. His grip tighter as the years passed. Friends and colleagues who admired his genius watched as the alcohol took a toll on his body, mind, and relationships. The very man who pioneered emotionally raw films like A Woman Under the Influence and Opening Night often found himself spiraling behind the scenes. Even as his reputation for authenticity and artistic bravery grew, so did the stories of his on-set disappearances, impulsive behavior, and mood swings. In private, John tried to justify his drinking as part of the creative process. He once confessed to a close friend, "If I'm not drinking, I don't feel anything. And if I don't feel anything, I can't create." That vulnerability, masked in bravado, became a haunting thread in his later works. But behind that curtain of chaos, Sweets was also a savvy operator. He was one of the first indie filmmakers to negotiate full creative control in his contracts. He used much of his modest Hollywood earnings to fund his own films through his company, Faces International. Though his lifestyle didn't match the flash of typical celebrities, his real estate holdings in California and New York told another story. At one point, he owned a loft-style apartment in Manhattan's Soho district, worth nearly $4 million today, and a quiet hillside retreat in Los Angeles that appreciated greatly over the years. What made his case so unusual was that he didn't pour his money into yachts or diamond-encrusted watches. His assets were protected by strong legal trusts and backed by a private business insurance policy focused on film production delays and health contingencies. Few stars ever matched his charisma or vocal command. He could make Shakespeare feel like poetry and seduction at the same time. At his peak, he was earning $1 million per film, a staggering figure in the 60s. His global fame skyrocketed during his 2 marriages to Elizabeth Taylor. Together, they bought mansions in Switzerland, yachts in the Mediterranean, and even matching Rolls-Royces. Their real estate empire spanned Bel Air, Puerto Vallarta, and a private villa on the French Riviera. His love for high-end luxury extended to his prized collection of Cartier watches and hand-tailored Brioni suits. Yet, with all that glamour came spiraling chaos. His alcohol consumption hit extreme levels and his acting suffered. Audiences started noticing the slurred lines, the staggering footsteps, and although he tried to quit many times, the grip was always stronger. By the early 80s, Burton's health was in steep decline. Despite medical warnings, he continued drinking until the very end. His net worth, once estimated at over $50 million, had dwindled significantly due to multiple divorces, poor investments, and unpaid taxes. Still, to this day, memorabilia linked to Burton fetches top prices at auctions, and his estate earns residuals from films that remain classics. Oliver Reed's downfall wasn't as sudden. It was more of a wild, slow-motion car crash. He lived his life like he was always on stage, leaning into every wild rumor and bar tale with open arms. But for every outrageous night, there was a cost. He lost major film roles. Studios didn't want the risk. Directors hesitated. Yet somehow he kept being offered one last chance. And when Ridley Scott cast him in Gladiator, it was meant to be a final comeback. He was paid handsomely, reportedly over $500,000, and offered back-end royalties that would have multiplied after the film's Oscar win. But that final drinking contest in Malta ended everything. What many people don't know is that Reed had invested in several British countryside properties. He owned a Georgian estate in Surrey and a country home in County Cork, Ireland, both now worth several million. Incredibly, he never insured his life or his roles, which forced the Gladiator producers to spend millions on CGI to complete his scenes posthumously. His net worth at the time of his death was under $2 million, far less than it could have been if not for decades of reckless behavior. But perhaps the most ironic twist in all these stories is how some of Hollywood's brightest stars, blessed with talent and wealth, were never able to escape the weight of their own shadows. One powerful hook in all their lives was the belief that their demons made them better artists. But in the end, those same demons took too much. Now, as streaming platforms revive their old classics, these actors are being rediscovered by new generations. Some, like Judy Garland, are even the subjects of biopics and documentaries, bringing renewed attention to both their artistry and pain. And while it's easy to judge their choices, the truth is far more complex. Each lived in an era when help wasn't readily offered, when being vulnerable was seen as weakness. Today, actors have access to better support systems, mental health services, sober coaches, and tailored insurance packages that protect them and the studios they work for. From these tragic tales, Hollywood has started learning hard lessons. And fans, too, are starting to see beyond the red carpets and studio spotlights. As we look back on these legends, Shaw, Garland, O'Toole, Burton, Reed, Savitz, we're reminded of a deeper truth. Brilliance doesn't come without battle. Their talent lit up screens, but their struggles left scars that still echo in the industry. And that haunting contrast between fame and fragility keeps us asking, was the price of greatness just too high? When cameras rolled on that infamous cabin scene, Anna Kendrick wasn't playing a character. She was living a moment. The alcohol in her system wasn't a prop. It was real. What audiences saw was raw vulnerability, an actress balancing between performance and discomfort. Director Joe Swanberg loved that unfiltered energy, but Kendrick later revealed how unsettled she truly felt, questioning whether being real on camera had crossed a line. It was the kind of experience that forces even the most confident stars to wonder where their craft ends and their personal boundaries begin. Then there's Veronica Lake, once the shimmering face of 1940s Hollywood, known for her iconic peekaboo hairstyle and magnetic screen presence. But behind those sultry eyes was a woman fighting a storm she could never quite outrun. Fame hit early, but the pressure fractured her. Alcohol wasn't just an escape, it became a habit woven into her daily life. On the set of Sullivan's Travels, she was unrecognizable from the star audiences adored. Sharp-tongued, volatile, often arriving hungover, her co-stars distanced themselves. The damage didn't stop on set. Veronica reportedly sabotaged scenes out of spite, like stuffing rocks into her costume to make a lifting scene physically impossible for her co-star. It wasn't just unprofessional, it was a cry for help. Colleagues like Eddie Bracken, usually generous with praise, had nothing kind to say. Mental health struggles combined with addiction eroded her career until studios stopped calling altogether. The tragic twist? Even when she tried to claw her way back in the late 60s, not even her most loyal fans recognized her. Time and alcohol had taken a brutal toll. In 1973, just as she began promoting her autobiography, an honest, haunting recount of her descent, Veronica felt a stabbing pain in her stomach. Doctors discovered severe liver disease. A month later, she was gone. Only 50. A legendary beauty lost not to scandal, but to slow, devastating self-destruction. Meanwhile, Martin Sheen wasn't just filming Apocalypse Now. He was living through his own personal apocalypse. On his 36th birthday, as the cameras captured his breakdown in a hotel room, the agony was unscripted. He was drunk, bleeding from punching a mirror, emotionally shattered. Director Francis Ford Coppola tried to stop filming, but Sheen begged him not to. "I need to do this," he said. The pain wasn't pretend, it was pouring out of him. In a shocking behind-the-scenes twist, Coppola admitted to fueling Sheen's breakdown. He kept him drinking for days and whispered dark things to push him over the edge. The gamble nearly cost Sheen his life. Not long after, while filming in the Philippines, Sheen suffered a heart attack. He collapsed, crawling through grass, chewing it just to stay conscious. This was no longer about cinema, it was survival. Sheen's lifestyle then was a powder keg. Heavy drinking, relentless stress, and 3 packs of cigarettes a day. The real damage came not just physically, but emotionally. His marriage nearly collapsed. His wife left, worn down by his behavior. He admitted years later that alcohol gave him a false sense of masculinity. He thought it made him a better actor. Instead, it nearly destroyed everything. A turning point came after a drunk driving arrest. That's when Sheen finally sought help. By 1989, he was sober. He credits his Catholic faith and Alcoholics Anonymous for saving him. Today, he looks back on that footage and barely recognizes the man he once was. "That wasn't acting," he says. "That was someone trying not to drown." And then there's Shia LaBeouf, a firecracker in the Hollywood system. While filming Lawless in 2012, he took method acting to terrifying levels. Drinking real moonshine to appear bloated and glassy-eyed wasn't just commitment, it was obsession. The cast watched in stunned silence as he spiraled into his role. But the alcohol didn't stay on camera. Off-screen, LaBeouf's behavior unnerved his co-stars. Mia Wasikowska nearly quit the film after he harassed her and scratched their characters' names into her door. Her legal team was on standby. That incident wasn't isolated. In fact, it was a pattern. LaBeouf's approach to acting grew more self-destructive with each film. During Fury, he refused to bathe, sliced open his own cheek, and yanked out a tooth, all in the name of staying in character. Brad Pitt and director David Ayer had to intervene before things got worse. But the off-camera incidents piled up. Arrested in a Chicago Walgreens, disrupting a Broadway show while intoxicated. caught on camera during a 2017 arrest in Georgia, yelling words that made headlines for all the wrong reasons. He said he wasn't addicted, but the chaos told another story. Despite all this, some filmmakers kept hiring him. Why? Because, as LaBeouf himself put it, they want a fireball, they want a loose cannon. He believed that unpredictability made him magnetic, but by 2022, reality had caught up. After serious allegations and a break from acting, LaBeouf announced he'd been sober for 627 days. He called it his great humbling. It was a rare moment of clarity from a man who had spent years burning down every bridge he crossed. One can't help but wonder, where would these stars be if their brilliance hadn't been entangled with pain? The industry that once elevated them also watched silently as they fell. But within their stories lies a sobering truth. Fame doesn't shield anyone from the demons within. And sometimes the most unforgettable performances aren't in front of the camera. They're the ones we never see behind closed doors where the spotlight fades and real life begins. Because in Hollywood, behind every red carpet smile, there's often a private struggle no one talks about until it's too late.